Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Nimja Live April 2022, with the theme A Mysterious Mage. Hello everyone, and before we begin, as always, I'd like to thank the continued and amazing support of my patrons. There's over 1,400 of you by now, and it's quite insane. I'd also like to thank all the donators, all the subscribers and comments, likes and everything. I read them all, as many of you know, and I'm very grateful for them. And as you can see, everything has been fixed. So the camera is back. It is the same camera. Now, before we head into discussing the theme, for anyone who is new, let's make sure that you know how this goes. First, we have the introduction, then we discuss the theme until about a quarter past. Then we will go with the actual trance, where my assistant will also say that the trance is starting and ending, and during the trance, chat will be switched to members only mode. With the trance itself, it's of course completely voluntary for you to participate or not, as you decide. Let me see, there are no big things right now. I'm not sure if or when I will do the Hypnosis online meetup again, because I ran the Hypnosis Amsterdam meetup last weekend, which was very fun. Also, thank you for the people who were there. I think that covers everything. Well then, let's begin discussing the theme, Mysterious Mage. And yes, hello and good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whichever day part it is for you. So, Mysterious Mage. What do you think? What will happen? And if you have any questions, remember that after the trance, after a moment for me to double check stuff, there will be time for a Q&A. And we will be going for, in total, 1.5 hours. A lost wanderer encountering a mage's castle. No, I don't want it to be in a castle. We've already done a mage's tower and place. Magic, of course. They know us more than we know them. I like that. An Assyrian architecture. By the way, that's a weird word to say. Assyrian, based on MC Escher. A mage finds a spell but doesn't know what it does. Actually, the idea of eye contact and actually seeing that the eyes may be showing some of the power. Mage tries spell out on listener, distracting sparkly clothes. And of course, the listener is the experiment. Fighting them in a duel. Glass eye, being guided to a comfy place, an apprentice to said mysterious mage. And that's a nice idea, but not for today. A mind-changing spell. distracted by hand movements? Did we stumble into their trap? Yes, maybe some accident or seemingly random. Yes, I like that. Seemingly random. Hypnotic, verbal, somatic, and material components. Confusion and fractionation being the subject of magical experimentation. I do like the idea. However, what kind of experiments are happening? Not knowing time. Amnesia, maybe? You'd never know. Some mind-bending experiments. Magical dimension. What was the other one I saw? It was mind-bending, spell testing. Well, spell testing is all nice, but what kind of spells? Control over emotion or feeling? Going within oneself. Actually, emotion play could be very interesting. Spells to make us light and tingly. Spell to test the victim's own magical ability. Ooh. Once more with feeling. Tingly, light, heavy. Maybe the mage is looking for an apprentice. Not for this one, but I do like the idea. I should make a note for like a mage looking for an apprentice. Testing out resistance. I'm sure you can't resist. Spells that control your movements. I mean, some puppeting could be fun. A spell to take voice away, then asking you to repeat. That is an interesting idea. Resistance play mixed with movement control. Apparently people like this idea of their voice taken away and then Also, for anyone thinking that are underestimating subjects, subjects themselves come up with the evilest ideas. Not sure if the mage is evil or good. And indeed, tomorrow is the 4th of April, 404, Mind Not Found Day, or Trans Unremembrance Day. If you can't repeat the thoughts, just echo loudly in your head. In order to get back, you have to remember the way. Lost. Yeah, Trans Unawareness Day, April 4th. Well, do be nice to each other. Let's see. Help getting out of the woods. All right, I think I have enough. Well then, everyone, get ready, get yourself comfy, and I hope that you have a water bottle and headphones on, that you're in a comfortable position. Remember that participation is voluntary. It's all up to you if you want to enjoy the trance or not. And yes, I was tempted to snap my fingers, but I'll be nice. In a moment, I'm going to switch the chat to members only. When I do, don't be alarmed. It is entirely normal. And yes, I know you do love your hand movements. And sorry to hear you lost your charger, Hypnotic Ghost. I hope it holds up. All right, everyone, please get ready. I am switching the chat. There we go. It is very like YouTube, though, to first say, hey, subscribers mode is off. Anyone can send a message. Now members only mode is on. Instead of just, giving the one superseding message. All right. There we go. Everything is ready. For now, my assistant should also say that the trance is about to begin, and afterwards, everything will be fine. Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Nimja Live, Mysterious Mage. This file plays in a fantasy world long ago, one where magic and monsters were not entirely uncommon, though most people just live their life like normal. It is not for me to decide what role you had in that world. Close your eyes and imagine houses mostly built of wood with maybe a minimum of stone. Landscapes, fields, small towns, almost no cities. Horse and carriage an exception, and most people traveling by foot. The landscape is simple, generally untouched. The road beneath your feet, just a simple dirt road. There are cart tracks, of course, and the center of the road has been completely trampled by the many horses. Today, you are walking to a township a bit further away. It's a nice, bright day. Barely any wind, not too hot. It is, by all means, a pleasant walk. Most of the time, these walks are incredibly boring, in a pleasant way. Between the open fields, nothing happens. There are no bandits here, as the road is too well traveled and there's nowhere to hide. Every now and then, you might see someone in the distance, slowly pacing towards you and passing you by with no more than a greeting. It's been a while since you saw the last person. Imagine how nice it would be simply walking there. No real need to think or do anything but letting your thoughts wander. It can feel incredibly nice to relax that way. One foot in front of the other, a simple goal, but nothing right now that matters. No rush, no obligations, just walking. In the distance you see a silhouette. The light of the sun makes it slightly hard to make out what it is. It's unclear if it's another farmer, and you don't see a horse or anything like that. They appear to be on foot. as you speculate, the person comes closer to you. They are still far away, but something in their walk seems different than anyone else you've seen today. Of course, it could be anyone. Their clothes don't seem to be too special. In fact, other than their walk, there doesn't appear to be anything strange going on. But their behavior is too purposeful. It's as if they know exactly where they are, who they are. They know something that you don't. They aren't lost, they aren't wandering. Their steps have purpose. While your thoughts have been drifting back and forth, curious about this stranger, they have been getting closer and closer to you on this one simple road. Only when you notice their face, you realize something is off. Their eyes, even though they are in the shadow, seem to glisten as if light is shining into them. And as you're wondering, you almost fail to hear the voice talk to you. Ah, there you are. I was wondering when you'd be here. For a moment you look around as you have no idea who this stranger is. They don't appear to be dangerous, but something is making you aware that this isn't normal. Well then, walking here with a simple goal, I guess you will do just fine. For now, just pay attention. I know that it might seem strange to hear these words spoken to you, and you probably didn't even notice that you've stopped walking, as you're still staring into my eyes, wondering what's going on. Your body is slowly freezing in place. And it's also kind of interesting because you might realize that not only have you stopped walking, you've stopped thinking. While you may have some lost thoughts still fluttering through that mind of yours, for now, all you have to do is pay attention. You can do that, can't you? Did you even notice your body nodding? Did you realize that you've been walking here listening to me, standing still for more than a minute now? Yes, you will do just fine. I could say that I was waiting for you, but that's not exactly accurate. It is a happy coincidence that you're here, though. Well then, for now, you don't have to think anything. In a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers and this will all go away. You might not even remember meeting me. You will simply continue on your way as if nothing is wrong at all. When you blink, the stranger is gone. For a moment you wonder if it's a dream. When you look behind you, there hasn't been anyone within sight. Maybe you were daydreaming, thinking about some story that you've heard. Then again, it seemed a little strange. After you start walking, you notice in the distance that there is someone coming this way. Just a person walking on the other side of the road. But there's something strange about this person. They're walking with too much purpose. Most of the people here don't really need to be anywhere right now. Either they're walking leisurely because they know they still have a long way to go, or they're running, knowing that they can't keep that up the whole way. No, this person has a very confident, strong step. As they're getting closer, you also begin to notice something strange. While the sun is somewhat behind them, you can see their eyes. It's as if they're catching light from somewhere else. Fascinating. Strange. You have a feeling that you've seen this before, though you don't quite know where. As the stranger comes closer, you blink and realize you've been staring into those eyes for a while now. You know you shouldn't. You know you should look away. But those eyes and that voice, they've been catching your attention for a while now. You're standing still, frozen in place, doing exactly what the stranger says. You are being hypnotized, mentally controlled. And the stranger simply smiles and says words that just weave through your mind, where you're not sure what is being said. There is a snap of their fingers, and for a moment time around you seems to freeze. You notice a bird hanging in the sky about to flap its wings. You notice yourself completely unable to move. Ah, yes, you will do just fine. I've been waiting for you. Or not. Maybe this is all as it should be. Let's see. By now your mind should be deeply responsive to my words. And your feelings, your emotions will follow your mind easily. Did you know that most feelings, most emotions are simply ideas that your mind places on the body, and before you know it, it'll just be felt everywhere? For example, even if you don't know why, everything is suddenly so funny, so wonderful, so amusing. It could be anything. It could be the grass, the sky. It could even be me, my sparkling eyes. Everything is just so funny, so entertaining. And it's kind of strange to laugh while the rest of your body is just stuck in place. But it's funny, it's nice, it's silly, or sad. So very sad. So lost. The world seems to darken around you. Everything is just so dreary. Even the light of the sun is not enough. You're standing in a pillar of darkness, of sadness. If only the tears would feel able to roll over your cheeks. It's so intense. Or maybe anger. Oh yes. Maybe anger at how some stranger is manipulating your feelings, how you're unable to move or escape, how everything is just wrong right now. It would be so good to break free. It would be so good to use that anger for something. But fortunately it passes just as quickly as it came, and suddenly everything is calm, peaceful, blank. The world around you is beautiful and simple. The light of the sun is so magnificent. The vivid colors of the grass, the flowers, the creatures so amazing. Bliss and blankness flowing through your body. Oh yes, so very well done. Maybe I should make you feel light and tingly. Just a nice feeling of almost floating. Your body's so wonderfully light, as if you could jump over those trees with ease, as if you could float, drift, just feeling those light sensations all through your body, even though you're simply standing there on the side of the road listening to a stranger, heavy and deep, blank, empty. That's right. Very good. And in a moment, I'm just going to snap my fingers again, and everything will return to normal. You'll be back on the path, able to walk. And yet, something is different. When we meet again, I will ask you to speak, but you will not be able to find your voice. It is as if your voice has been left behind. And you'll want to speak. You'll want to exclaim how much you want to feel that magic. The magic inside, the magic powerfully flowing through you. But your voice is somewhere else, absent, misplaced. And as you slowly return to some semblance of normal on the path, the stranger is gone again, with just a snap. You look around and it was like a dream. You've been daydreaming so much. You continue walking for a while and see a stranger in the distance, a silhouette against the sun. Some part of you inside knows what's going to happen. It knows that you want to feel the magic. The stranger walks closer as you walk that way. Again, twinkling eyes that seem to reflect light, not shining inside. Before you know it, you're standing close again. You can see the smile on their lips. I'm going to ask you a question, a very simple one, and if you are able to answer, you will get to experience something magnificent. Do you want to feel the power of magic flowing through you? Have you lost your voice? I guess you don't. Another snap and something strange happens. The stranger is no longer there, but in their stead there is someone dressed quite differently. Clothing that sparkles in unseen light, reflections of infinity and nowhere. They walk closer to you. They walk closer to you and look deep into your eyes. I know who you are. I know what you want. And maybe someday you will learn to use magic. There is some potential, but not yet. Not today. But thank you for the entertainment. Some of this may feel like a dream. Other parts are too unbelievable anyway. Feel free to share whatever you remember. It's not like anyone will believe it. But we will see each other again. And who knows what will happen next time. Part of you knows what's going to happen when they snap their fingers. They're going to disappear, fade from your mind, as if everything was no more than a dream. You're trying to hold on, but just as the morning sun melts dreams away into ethereal mist, so too does the Mage just disappear. And as you fall deeper and deeper in trance, as you wonder what has happened to you, everything will return back to normal. Some of the shards of the dream, some of the pieces may remain. While it could be difficult to put them in the right order or the right place, not everything is as it seems after all. But I wonder if it was real. 1, 2, slowly waking. 3, 4, more aware. 5, 6, almost there. 7, 8, almost awake. And 9, 10, awake. And welcome back. I hope you had a nice dream. Let me switch the chat again. There we go. And indeed, I haven't put the spiral there. I'm sorry. So, that was quite an interesting file. There are a few things I need to double check, because I believe that I might need to fix a few small things. Whew. So, I hope everyone is okay. The emotion play could have been quite intense for some people. Let me see. What is kind of funny is sometimes, like, I'm doing pretty well with pronunciation of words, But sometimes it can be very odd to say certain syllables after, or certain vowels after one another. For example, with this so too. Was there anywhere else? Because I think the other snaps were okay. And it's also fun to want to laugh but being quite stuck. I try to play with several layers of suggestions at once, which allowed for some very fun effects. Let me see, everything should be okay. And weird is good. Weird allows you to experience some new things. I'm almost done for the Q&A. I'm just checking that everything in the recording is okay. And why were the snaps so soft? Well, if I do the snaps harder, it will clip the microphone. Like I can do soft snaps here, or I can do hard snaps here. But don't worry, I alternate with hard and soft snaps. Besides, I like teasing my listeners as well. You can't always have exactly what you want. There we go. Everything looks good. Now then, let us begin the Q&A. And the file was about 23 minutes long, so it's one of the longer files of the lives. Quite nice. And I do know that some people love the keyboard sounds, but it's not ideal for recording or for like being on YouTube. And Annelies, I can totally see you. It was actually 26 minutes. Fauna Johnson asks, is April Fool's a thing in the Netherlands? It sort of was. It wasn't very active this year. And Nopyep, remember that you have subject agency. You can reset if you want to. Rex asks, what was for dinner tonight? I had pizza unexpectedly. So I had a friend over and they were supposed to go home quite a bit earlier. But in the Netherlands today, all the trains did not ride anymore after about 12 o'clock. So they were stuck and had to ask for a ride. Well, I don't always have unexpected pizzas. Caitlin asks, pineapple on pizza? Sure. Jay asks, have you ever been hypnotized yourself by someone else? Not recently. JK asks, at which age did you start to get interested in hypnosis, and at what age did you first hypnotize someone? So I got interested in hypnosis because of a science magazine when I was 11. And My first hypnosis session is probably around 15. Becca Rose asks, did you have dessert? What was for dessert today? That's something cinnamony. Annalise asks, have you ever tranced someone with nothing but non-word sounds? I wonder if I did. I think I did. Calm Catalyst asks, do you have a spring bucket list? Something that makes you feel comfortable in the changing seasons? I do not. So, Nadine asks, what do you enjoy about the season of winter? I quite like the crispness of the air. And Nora asks, did you learn anything new today? Yes, but I don't know if it's relevant. The narrator asks, beat any games recently? I did an Eclipse run of Risk of Rain 2, which I think counts as beating. Purple Lynx asks, have you ever played Hollow Knight? I have. I didn't finish it 100%, but I did finish the main storyline. Official Moves of Canada asks, have you ever done the Cinnamon Challenge? No, and don't do it. JK asks, how did you learn to hypnotize? It was a combination of first reading books and learning, then studying under people, and then just a lot of experience. Jay asks, do you dub over files that you make mistakes on during live? Is that why you repeat sentences at times? I don't dub over them. I cut out the repeat. I make a marker in my recording software, which allows me to very quickly go back to it and cut that part out. So that's why I repeat myself. Calm Catalyst asked, favorite old school YouTube videos, Loading Ready Run and Captain Disillusion. Becca Rose asks, give us a random fact of the day. Tomorrow is Trans Unremembrance Day. Mastermind asks, is this the perfect month for an Easter egg in your website? No. Very, very, very long ago, there was a small Easter egg in the interactive scripts, but that's no longer needed. Ace asks, the first time you ever tried to hypnotize someone, did it work? I mean, very, very slightly. Fauna Johnson asked, are you excited for the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Yes, I am. Taboron asks, where do you get the background music from? Do you make it yourself? Yes, I made it myself. Mars asks, what are some of your favorite artists, musical or otherwise? Queen, for example, and MC Escher when it comes to visual art, which is not very surprising, I guess. Purple Lynx asks, have you ever thought of making files without the music, like the lives? No, probably not doing it. Jay asks, any new puns? Always. JK asks, what was the funniest hypnosis experience you've ever had? Also, by the way, JK, you don't have to re-ask questions. Sometimes I just don't answer them because, like, there's a lot of questions, and I have had that question before. Unleash the Fair asks, what should we do if we're too floaty to think of good questions? Well, then you should wake. Markley asks, how did you figure out that you enjoy dominance? Was that straightforward for you? I would say mostly yes, but it's about experimentation. For example, like, I have tried being tied up, but the only enjoyment I get out of it is seeing if I can escape, not actually enjoying the tied upness. Caitlin asks, if a life failed to save, would you have to trans us again? Maybe. Nadine asks, what is one of the first things you notice about a person? Usually their face and their eyes. Aksep asks, how was the mysterious mage? Confusing for a lot of people. The narrator asks, what about second trance? Well, Pippin, I think you've had enough. That is a good question, though. Dianta asks, so what's the last thing you notice about someone? Usually, like the back of their head when they walk away. I don't know, like the last thing, it's not something you can really specify. It's a cute question. Jay asks, sometimes it's hard to be blank and still visualize. Any recommendations? Go with it, have fun, don't worry if you're not fully blank or if you're having difficulty visualizing. Just enjoy. Mokali stops themselves from asking a question about headpads. How comfy is that chair? Pretty comfy. Tabron asks, do you normally tell people you're a hypnotist? What is their initial reaction most of the time? It depends. I'm also a full-time programmer. Like, I work full-time. And the reaction to hypnosis is often more of a, really? It's not too weird anymore. Jackie asks, what is your favorite word or sentence in hypnosis? Maybe imagine. And Mokali, yes, I remembered. I apologize. I do my best to remember pronouns. There are a lot of people and it is a lot to remember. But pronouns and identities are very important. So I do my best. Unleash the Fair asks, what is the best way to give head pats? Well, you start with your hand, like slightly above their head, and then you move up and down in a gentle position, touching their head on the down motion, but not too hard. Ace asks, have people ever been like, oh, hypnotize me right now when you tell them? Yes, actually, a few times. Nadine asks, so I know there isn't any bunny flinging going on at the moment, but where would be the best place to hide when trying to escape the flying bunnies? Well, you would have to exit Monty Python's Flying Circus. The narrator asks, are your head pets mainly palm or mainly fingers? Asking for a friend. I would say I use a combination of both. Dianta asks, and do you hypnotize someone right away? Well, not without some kind of discussion of consent and intent. I sometimes give people like small tricks that they can use, like how to help with focus. Fauna Johnson asks, random, but do you think bald heads look really slappable? I think their cheeks look the same as anyone else. Katie asks, where's the counter of being recognized in public at currently? Still at 1. Delta asks, do you enjoy creating things with your hands in addition to creating things with tools like computers? I sort of do enjoy making things with my hands. I like actual physical instruments and I like cooking. And I like baking where your hands usually get dirty. And Becca asks, out of curiosity, have you ever given a brat punishment of writing lines? If so, how many did they have to write? Just wondering. More than was fun. Newt asks, their cheeks? Yes, it was a face-slapping comment. See, bald is just another hairstyle. Accidental Alien says, when you move your hands around the screen, it makes me visualize you with Scarlet Witch's powers, but blue, and you look really cool. Well, thank you. Katie asks, what other kinds of getting your hands dirty do you enjoy? I probably made that sound like either exactly as you intended it or completely different. Either way, that's for me to know. The narrator asks, going with the writing lines question, are we allowed to write in crayons? Maybe in some cases. Mastermind asks, can Nimja Inc. expand business and send a well-made website template to Literotica? Please, they really need that. I mean, I have a lot to do. Becca Rose asks, so you like cooking? Can you bake us some cookies? I'm sure you wouldn't make them too addictive. I can make cookies. I quite like making speculaas, actually, which is a very nice Dutch cookie. And Purple Links rightfully mentions, don't eat the crayon. Crayons are friends, not food. Jimmy Chavo asks, do you get earworms, an all-day soundtrack, or none of the above? So, this is a guess. I am fairly musical, and generally speaking, I can choose what I want to sing or think about. Very sometimes a song gets stuck in my head for a while. But even then I can some hum or sing something else if I want to. Nadine asks, would you agree that the most innocent looking tends to be the most knowledgeable of naughty topics? I don't know if that's true. I would say more that nerdy people tend to be more knowledgeable about naughty topics than average people. Just a Little Me asks, markers, crayons, or colored pencil? Which is the best childhood coloring tool? Whichever one you have the most of. Pip asks, what is your least favorite genre of music? Least favorite. I don't really know. I tend not to like music that is, like, regardless of genre, that is either too formulaic or not very well balanced. So I like melody and drum, but I don't like it if drum is the only thing there is and isn't interesting. But like African drums can be really awesome. So it's not really. I don't know if I have an easy like least favorite genre. JK asks, "Hast du eine Frau und Kinder?" That's a question I will not answer, but I do understand it. Purple Lynx asks, "Wait, you have a Discord?" There is a Discord for my patrons. Mudleaf asks, "When did you get that new shirt?" I've had this shirt for quite a while. Jay asks, "What is your current favorite TV show / series or documentary?" I'm not sure. I just watch some random things. I don't have a big favorite at the moment. Nopyap asks, "Can we get hugs?" Usually, yes. Laura Roberts asks, "Are you familiar with the musical works of Steely Dan?" I believe I am. And Saboran asks, "Going off the music question, what is your opinion about country music?" Well, most of it is fine. Some of it is really good, and some of it is really crappy and exploitative. Bo Burnham did a song called Pandering, which explains that opinion about country music quite well. Calm Catalyst asks, "Wait, do you have merch?" No, I do not. The only thing that is available is a silver pin to gold patrons after a few months, and that's it. Katie asks, "How good is your memory?" Jaggy asks, "What do you like the most about hypnosis?" That it is a tool that is beautifully flexible and varied. Sayana says, "Not a question, but thank you for the Bob Ross inspired file." Well played. It's also file 808, which spells Bob, because, yeah. Also, the file boo is file 800, which also spells boo, and file 801 is boy. It's some of the 800 file, like the first few 800 files just kind of fell into place. Annalise asks, "What's your favorite thing to do with the botnet?" Well, some people will just feel shivers whenever I tell them to please me. Mokali asks, "What is the most important thing you've learned recently?" Maybe pacing myself a little bit better for work. And yes, Annalise, I know that you were setting up for this, but yeah, that's your punishment. Now, there's still a few more minutes for questions left, about 21. And yeah, the word shivers is very fun to say in a certain way. Laura Roberts asks, sorry, did you say a gold pin for silver patrons or a silver pin for gold patrons? It's a silver pin for gold patrons. The silver pin is a reference to when I got 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and got a silver plaque. Mastermind asks, is it a hard drive to go to the office, or is the network traffic from your house worst? I think that question needs some work. Purple Links asks, can we get a hug, please? Hugs. Mowgli asks, what is the last thing you've drawn? I think it was a technical drawing for something that I was working on. That actually reminds me, I need to make a small note. Yes, there we go. Nadine asks, sir, you know that word that starts with the letter D? I can't seem to remember. Would you mind sharing it? Which one? There's a few words starting with the letter D that are very lovely when it comes to hypnosis. Official Moose asks, if you lived in Australia, would it be a gold pin? Probably. Just a Little Me asks, how are we supposed to ask questions when he keeps sending us shivers and such? By exhibiting your subject agency. Mew asks, any favorite live version of a song in particular? I was at the mandatory world tour of Weird Al, and just the whole thing was amazing. While a D word of 4 letters, there's still a few. They both end on P as well. The narrator asks, hey, I'm learning English. What is the opposite of wake? I'm an auditory learner, by the way. Well, I think it's e-caw. Levy asks, what is your MBTI type? It is very predictable. Although I do know that most people are asking for the Dutch word of licorice for some reason. Annelies asks, are you always this silly or only when we're watching? That's a Schrodinger's cat question. Official Moose of Canada asks, do you think you're very predictable? Evidence for or against? I would say that I'm somewhat predictable within certain patterns. I like regularity and certain things like happening in certain ways. However, I also like variation and improvisation. Jay asks, do you burn or tan? I am on the burn end of the spectrum, which is not because I am a nerd. Unfortunately, my genes lean more towards the burning part. Nadine says, I studied to be a wizard so I could turn things into glass. I just wanted to make that clear. Becca Rose asks, it rhymes with prop. Just add a D in front of it, and what word would that be? Yeah, it's a good question. Official Most of Canada asks, probably also because you live in NL and it's usually cloudy there, n'est-ce pas? I mean, not always cloudy. It can definitely be sunny and blue. Today was varied. Purple Link asks, do you like interacting with your live chat after the trance? Yes, it's actually quite fun. Calm Catalyst asks, what do you use to soothe your big emotions? One of the ways is to take a moment to remember that everything will pass. Like, it doesn't rain all the time, there's no sun all the time. And if you have an emotional outlet, especially a creative one, it can help a lot. Poetry, music, art, whatever way that makes you feel more able to express something. Because when you can express it, it also feels easier to comprehend and to deal with. Bosandros asks, you know a D is just an upside down P, right? No, a B is an upside down P. A D is a 180 degrees turned P. Nadine asks, what is the backwards pronunciation of port? I don't know, I'm not that good at Texan. Purple Link asks, what is one of your favorite types of hypnosis you do? I like sort of very, like, confusion, and I like fractionation quite a lot. Nora asks, in your experience, do people who look up when trying to think of something tend to be hypnotized more easily? I don't know. It's I don't know if they are more or less easy to hypnotize. Official Moose of Canada asks, what is the silliest trance you've ever done? I mean, a while ago there was a public one where quack and duck was mentioned. It's probably the silliest one. Becca Rose asks, can you say this or that, or since you're reading this, maybe you've said them both already? But I haven't said them both, because I read ahead. Mastermind asks, Nimja, are you okay? Because with that many followers, you might get viral. Take care. Cute one. Vena says, I was trying the hypnosis to forget your name, and the relaxation part was so good. I never felt that relaxed in my body before. I felt so light in my body, and now I do it to sleep. Thanks. You're very welcome, and nice to see you here. I hope you listen to more, because Forget Your Name is like one of my simpler files. The narrator asks, are we ever going to get more emotion play like that, or was it a one-time thing? I don't know why I made that sound so dramatic. Probably I will do it more. Nadine asks, how does Sally earn so many seashells by the seashore? I think she might be fishing for seashells for sure. Markley asks, do you have any routines for before scenes you're comfy sharing? I like to double check if what we discussed is there, and also just to build up some expectation. Taboran asks, are you good at tongue twisters? I'm okay with them. If I get the chance to read them properly and to make sure that I have the words in the correct order, I'm usually fine. Just a Little Me asks, are you a couch person or a chair person? I enjoy both. Annalise asks, have you ever sifted thistles? I have. Becca Rose asks, do you have any more tongue twisters? De dikke directeur duwde de dame die de doos droeg de driedubbele draaideur door. There, tongue twister in Dutch. Purple Link asks, what is a tip you have for helping others into trance or trancing someone else? Relax, just have fun with yourself. Catalyst asked, before I thank you for the no cursing file, I've been trying to improve with it since it's because of an anxiety reaction. It still happens lots, but I'm more aware of it now. Yeah, take your time to learn. There's also a very fun Dutch one with Els, which is Liesje leerde lotje lopen langs lange lindelanen. One that I actually modified myself because I was annoyed that there was one D in there in the original. Because the original is langs de lange lindelaan, which annoyed me because it has a D which wasn't needed. Tyler Cope asks, have you made any muscle slave files? Not explicitly. I do have several workout files. Purpling says, have you ever, when you were younger, found a stick that looked like a perfect sword or pew-pew machine? Yes. Zayan asked, I noticed today's file have a nice cliffhanger. Was that by accident or on purpose? It was on purpose. I also remember very silly, tongue twisters, like Moses supposes his toes aren't roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. Moses he knows his toes aren't roses, but Moses supposes his toes to be. Which is from Singing in the Rain when they're practicing their pronunciations. At some point, I also knew most of the V speech by heart, for no good reasons. And Mars asks, when you pick up tongues, do you clack them together? Of course I do. You want to check if they're working like they should, because if you try to pick up food without checking them, clack, clack. Jay asks, favorite go-to movie? I don't know if I have one at the moment. There's a few movies I've seen quite a lot. Amelie is really nice. Narrator asks, are you a human who does human things? Of course. Want to go skateboards? Rex asks, favorite pastry? Ooh. I mean, baklava is quite nice. Or there's a castle in Dutch, een kasteeltje. And een mocha schuimtaart, but I have no idea how to... It's like a meringue thing. Becca Rose asks, what is the worst movie you've ever seen? See, the worst movie would be one that's just boring. Also, about 5 minutes remaining. See, the thing is, if a movie is really bad but still well done, it's fun. Uwe Boll made a series of movies that were quite fun. Yeah, it's not really a mocha cream cake either. You could call it a mocha meringue cake or a mocha meringue cream. I don't know. So Annelies asks, what would you do if someone was trying to bring a wagon load of loose hay into your evil fortress? I'd be very curious how they would be transporting loose hay. If they have a cart, it can just stay on the cart. Taboran asks, what is around the most views you've had on a live? Well, today is it's slightly below normal. Today's peak was about 96. And with some of them, I think we've had 140, maybe more. Deonta asks, what about loose glitter? Glitter is on my limits list. It does not enter my house. Nadine asks, stop, pop, flop. There's one more word that starts with a D, but my brain can't seem to remember it. It was mentioned before. It's dollop. It is a small amount of usually a liquidy or creamy material. Calm Catalyst asked, favorite bone, the ones that keep me upright. Ah, poor Nadine. She tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it didn't really matter. Neighborhood Bisexual asked, has the chat ever succeeded in tricking you to say something? That's very difficult to do since I actually read the question before I read it out loud. And I, of course, would participate in the joke sometimes. Mars asks, when you eat a meal, do you save the best bite for last? Usually, yes. Although I try to alternate a little bit. Jouette asks, what is the line between glitter and sequins? It's very easy. If you doubt the line, it's glitter. Madeleine asks, how can you read all the questions so fast? Practice. Didn't you learn reading in school? But more seriously, just practice. You learn how to manage chat, and my chat usually doesn't get that crazy. Katie asks, has anyone ever gotten you to tell them your name? Of course. Tyler Cope asks, do you prefer to hypnotize women? I mean, yes-ish. I don't mind hypnotizing men. It all depends on the situation. Purple Links asks, remember the time when we asked for a quick trance? Yes, it's happened a few times during this life. I wonder why. People seem to be eager for it. Guillermo asks, why does your voice sound different? In what way? Madeleine asks, do you actually read every comment? Yes, I do. And I also respond to almost every one of them. Purple Links asks, what type of microphone are you using? This is a Rode NT USB with a stand with a very nice pop filter. Also by Rode, by the way. On the on the site, I actually have a list of the microphones that I've been using. I don't know if I mentioned the file numbers with them. 1 minute remaining. Markley asks, could you send us off with some soft, warm words when the live ends? Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you for being an absolutely heartwarming community. Even without my presence, it's so cool to just see you guys talk and interact with respect to each other. It makes me very happy. And I also want to thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing my work, and just for being awesome. And yes, all good things do have to come to an end. Mastermind asks, what is easier for you to melt, chocolate or minds? Both are delicious to melt down and consume for my entertainment. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I had a lot of fun and it was a fantastic file. Once more, thank you also, my patrons, for your continued support and humbling me with your amazing presence. Anyway, this was Nimja Live. Wake.